Hello everybody, welcome to Ye Olde Comic Con. I am the son of the morning, your host. Today we're going to do our actual first real review, and I thought no better way to start than with one of Marvel's current superstars in Donny Cates, and his new series Thor. As you can see, there is 3 issues that have been out so far. I believe the 4th one comes out in a couple weeks sometime this month. So we're going to review these, and I have to say so far I am very pleased, very impressed with the work that Donny Cates and Nick Klein have done on this book. So when we start this off, number 1 here, Thor is having some issues. Now, one of the main issues that Thor is having is that he's starting to lose his power a little bit. He's having trouble when he's trying to pick up Mjolnir. He's still able to do it, still able to yield it, but there's a little grunt when he has to pull on it. As well, he has now been placed with the burden of being the All-Father of Asgard, and the story begins with him sort of lamenting about the speech that he's going to have to give to all of the people of Asgard. Of course, he knows he's spoken to these people thousands of times, but never as their leader. So that is sort of where we begin here when we start. We'll sort of get into it. You can see that the hammer is sort of flying through all of the different realms. Even meet Iron Man there for a minute. And then we come back here where it appears as though Thor has gone on his final journey, is on the Rainbow Bridge, has arrived back through the Bifrost. His hammer there says, "Nice shot, enjoy your retirement." Meaning, of course, that he's going to be the king of Asgard now. He's not going to be the warrior thunder god traveling around the cosmos, killing people, having wars, saving people, all that sort of wonderful stuff. And as well, you can see here that Lady Sif is now in control of the Bifrost. This is called the Devourer King. So, very pleased, like I said, so far with the story. Here's the parts where I was talking about Thor lamenting that he doesn't want to give the speech. Of course, Loki comes in to sort of antagonize a little bit, saying that this is kind of all that he's ever wanted. And then he mentions, as he does right here in this panel at the bottom, that Thor is having trouble picking up Mjolnir. So Loki has noticed that. As mischievous as Loki is, that can't be a good thing. But Thor is still able to wield the hammer, and does so until, as you can see, something happens. Galactus here is crashing into Asgard, crashing into Thor's throne room. He's an injured Galactus. We're trying to figure out what's going on here. Thor obviously does not like Galactus. Now we got some ads, some more ads. And so basically what we end up coming down to is that Galactus has been injured by the same storm that injured him when he was Galen the Explorer in the previous universe, that he was the sole survivor, which turned him into Galactus. He has come face to face with this storm again. It has almost killed him, and he has crashed into Asgard, where he requires help. So he is asking for help from Thor, which is kind of funny. So Thor, of course, being non-trustworthy of, Galactus because of his history of not being the greatest guy in the world, decides to call in a bunch of Galactus's old heralds to talk about if what Galactus is saying is true, can he be trusted, that sort of thing. You see Silver Surfer Black and Cosmic Ghost Rider Frank Castle there. So they're discussing what's going to happen. Now, basically what happens here, this is, I find, to be a very, very cool page here, where Silver Surfer is telling Thor that throughout the time that he was the Herald for Galactus, he managed to hide several planets. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets from Galactus that had untold energy sources that would give Galactus an untold amount of energy, the amount of energy it would take to fight off this storm and save the current universe. So what ends up happening is that Galactus is going to need a herald to do all of this stuff. So what Thor agrees to do is go along with Galactus with the promise that when they get to these planets that they're going to evacuate the planets and make them let the people survive so Galactus can eat. Of course, when they get to this planet, Galactus has other ideas, and this is when we start to learn something really interesting about Thor as a herald of Galactus, because Galactus wants to eat his planet, doesn't really care about the people. So the Bifrost is summoned by Lady Sif. All of the people on the planet are whipped away to Asgard, and Galactus, of course, then is free to do what he needs to do. Number 2 here, we will see... I'll just skip to the important stuff here. Not that any of this isn't really good, but like I said, Galactus is on this planet. Thor doesn't want him killing everybody. Galactus doesn't care, he just wants to eat, but for Thor this is unacceptable. And like I said, the Bifrost summons all of the people of this planet away, taking them to Asgard to safety. This, of course, makes Galactus unhappy. What can you do, though? So Galactus has a little battle with Thor, and Galactus ultimately completely destroys the planet. Thor doesn't want him to. Thor has promised these people that they're safe on Asgard until their planet can be resoiled, where crops can be grown again. Obviously, Galactus doesn't care about that and completely destroys the world for all of its power. And he likes it. You can see he's completely rehabilitated there, and that is, of course, what's going to happen when he eats one of these super planets. Now, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Now, you see here at the end here, it says in the next issue, Beta Ray Bill's coming. Now, what we do learn before we get to the next issue is that, unlike previous heralds of Galactus, Thor has his own free will. Thor wants to save people. Thor is willing to fight back against Galactus. This is a very different twist on the herald idea for Galactus. Really, really liking it. And as I said, Galactus's union with Thor has made somebody mad. His name, Beta Ray Bill. So, we'll move on to issue number 3 here now. Now, issue number 3 is basically a battle between Beta Ray Bill and Thor. Beta Ray Bill is very much confused as to why Thor would align himself with somebody like Galactus. I can't say I blame him. Galactus hasn't been the nicest guy in the universe. But, of course, Beta Ray Bill wants to kill Galactus, and he's willing to go through Thor if necessary. But we find out sort of in this panel right here when Beta Ray Bill attacks that Thor, now powered up with the power cosmic, they are no longer equals in terms of power. the battle goes on. They fight a lot. There is definitely a lot of fighting between Beta Ray Bill and Thor. And Thor is winning this matchup. Beta Ray Bill is holding his own, but ultimately, with the new power that Thor has, he doesn't stand too much of a chance against him. So, look, more fighting, but something very important does happen here towards the end. Now, on this page here, you can see that Thor throws Mjolnir at Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill catches it. Thor tries to retrieve it. Now, we all know that if Thor wants his hammer back, he's going to get his hammer back. And so he mentions to Beta Ray Bill that he better let go or his arm is going to be coming with the hammer. But Beta Ray Bill manages to hold on, showing that Thor has lost some of his power. Of course, then Thor summons Stonebreaker and Krakum, as you see. So basically, Thor and Beta Ray Bill are battling it out. Lady Sif uses the Bifrost to show up because she is not happy to see her two friends, two allies going at it, and she has come to put a stop to it. And that's where we come to the conclusion of issue number 3. I think issue number 4 comes out in a couple weeks. It comes out sometime soon. Very much looking forward to that. Very pleased with the work that Donny Cates and Nick Klein have done so far. They're telling a great story here. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.